Welcome to Backyard Poker, a channel dedicated to expanding your poker palette beyond just Texas Hold'em. I'm Ryan, your host, and I'm excited to bring you a new series in this Backyard Poker YouTube channel. This series is called Poker Quick Shots. These videos will be excerpts from poker interviews or conversations with others about a specific poker topic. This will also be a place where I will post my short topics like top 10 lists, opinions, reviews, or anything else not related to my other playlists. These videos will be around 5 to 15 minutes in length. So the first Poker Quick Shots is an excerpt from an interview I had with my father, David. I'll provide a link to that interview in the description below. This is actually never before seen footage from that interview. My dad will be talking about his favorite casino poker games, as well as a few amusing stories about them. At the end, he will give his opinion of the Backyard Poker channel. So sit back, relax, and let's hear my father spin a few yarns backyard style. You also like to play poker games at the casino. What are your favorite games to play there?
Well, there are table games at the casino, and then there are machine poker games. I like them both. The one thing about the machine games is you can play by yourself for whatever amount of money you want to play for, and play any kind of poker you want to play. It's just called video poker.
Mm-hmm.
I like playing table games, but usually for some people, the minimum amount that you have to play for is really more than I'm comfortable with. My strategy usually is play machines for less money, and then if I win enough money on the machines, I'll go risk a little at the table games. Another good thing about this is I can take my wife to play with me, and we both sit at the same machine and play alternate hands. So she can play and I can play. Can't do that at a table game. She has to play her own, I have to play my own. And we've done that too. But that's usually the strategy. I don't like playing blackjack at the casino. I like playing poker games, Let It Ride, Caribbean Stud when they used to have it, and anything like that, Mississippi games. In fact, casino games are prevalent now and you can play online. But when I first started playing cards, there was no internet, there was no smartphones, there were no casinos in the United States. But because I lived in Michigan, I could travel across the border and go into Canada where they did have casinos. And I would do that periodically and had some very lucrative days over there that made it well worth my time.
So Let It Ride was a particular game that I know you like to play. I like to play it too. Was there an interesting story?
Yeah, there were holidays in Michigan, single holidays that usually on a Monday, that I didn't have to work. And so what I would do on those days, instead of going to work, I would get up at the same time and drive to Canada, which was not that far away, an hour maybe, and gamble, because that was the only place you could go where you could gamble. Well, one of these days that I went, the casino was a boat that was moored to a dock. It was 4 or 5 different levels, and one of the levels was table games. And so I went down to the level that the table games were being played, and I just walked around and see what was going on. And there was a game there that I had never heard of before called Let It Ride. It's common now, but it wasn't then. In fact, there was only one table that they were dealing at. So I stood behind and watched the game being played. I understood poker, so I stood behind and watched. And after a few minutes, I decided to sit down and play. I think there was only two other players. And since it was the only game of this nature, you had to risk $45. And if you know Let It Ride, it's actually 3 bets of $15, 2 of which you can draw back if you don't have a hand that qualifies to win. So you risk $45, and you're going, if you lose, the least amount you can lose is 15. Anyways, I sat down and I didn't win any hands for about 6 or 7 hands. And I was losing $15 a hand because I was taking $30 back, which you're allowed to do. And then if I didn't get a qualifying hand, I would lose the last $15 bet. So about the 10th hand into this, and a qualifying hand is a pair of tens. So if you have a pair of tens, you know you're going to win. Other than that, you're risking your money by staying in to see if you can get a card that will take you to tens or better. Well, this hand, I was dealt 2 5s and an ace, which is not a qualifying hand. But it was one of the best hands I had gotten so far. So I decided on the first chance to take my money back that I would bypass that and stay in. And what happens is that the dealer has 2 cards in front of him that he does not use. They're just used cards that you can use face down. Turn one of them up, and it was the 5, which gave me 3 5s. So now I'm going to win because it's obviously 3 5s is tens or better. In fact, the better your hand gets, the higher the payout. And for 3 of a kind, it was 3 to 1. So I had 3 $15 bets that I was going to get $45 each. So I was up $135 right then. Well, then the dealer turned up the last card, and it was a 5 too, which is rare. And now instead of getting 3 to 1, I got 50 to 1. So on each of these $15 bets, I won $750. And this was probably 6:30 in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, in Canada, you exchange your American money for Canadian money. And at that time, American money was 150% worth of whatever Canadian money was. So each dollar American, I got $1.50 Canadian. So I was actually playing with Canadian money. And right after that hand, I went back and exchanged a lot of that to American money so that I had over $1,000 in American money that went into my pocket and was not going to be risked the rest of the day. But
Beautiful.
I did well even, and I didn't play much after that. I figured I got the best hand I was going to get. It was time to get up and move on to something else. But it was, yeah, it was. I was, and I think they were surprised too that I got that good a hand, especially having only 2 5s to start with.
So other than Let It Ride, there are other poker games at the casino that you would like to play. What's an example of another one?
Well, there was also a game that was popular that I like playing. It was called 3-card poker.
Mm-hmm.
And the game consisted of actually 2 games in one. There was an actual poker game that if you got a certain rank of hand, you got paid on if you played that portion of the game, which was called Pairs Plus. If you put in money on the Pairs Plus and you got a pair of something or better, straights and flushes did count in that. You got paid regardless whether you beat the dealer or not. And then there was another portion of that where if you thought you could beat the dealer, you anteed and then bet. And then when the dealer showed their hand. If you beat it, you got paid on that too. And you didn't have to play that. You would lose your ante, but you didn't have to play that. Anyways, a friend of mine who came to the casino with us wanted to learn how to play, and he knew how to play poker. He'd played poker his whole life, but he just didn't know about this game. So I told him, sit down behind me and watch. I'll explain it to you as the cards are dealt. So the dealer dealt me my 3 cards. I put some money in the pairs plus. I think it was $10. I put some money in the ante, how much I wanted to play in the portion of where I played against the dealer, $5. And I picked up my cards. And my cards were 2, 3, 4 diamonds, which is the best hand you can get in 3-card poker. It's actually considered a straight flush. And so obviously I was going to play against the dealer. So I put double the ante in to play against the dealer, and it didn't really matter what the dealer had. The dealer wasn't going to beat me. Even if the dealer did beat me, I still got paid on the pairs plus. Well, the pairs plus for 3 in 1 suit consecutive was 40 to 1. So I won $400 just on the pairs plus. Of course, I beat the dealer, so they matched the ante. And then because my hand was so good, I got 6 times my bet. So the total ended up being something like $475. So when it was over, nonchalantly, I just turned to my friend and said, any questions?
I'm sure he didn't have any.
No, he couldn't wait to sit down and play.
Oh, that's great. Would you have any suggestions for the channel?
No, not really. I can tell you've spent a lot of time organizing this and breaking it up into sections to bring people along so they have a good understanding of the basic rules of poker. I mean, you just have to play after a certain point of time to understand the nuances about betting and whatever. But I think it's probably just about the right length for a lot of people that haven't played. So no, you've gone way beyond what I thought this would entail. So my compliments to you. I enjoy watching it too. So keep up the good work.
I hope you were as entertained as I was when I was filming that interview with my father, and I'm sure we'll hear more from him in future Poker Quick Shots. Okay, here's the question of the day. What is your favorite casino poker game? Leave me a comment below. Anyone interested in being interviewed on any poker topic, shoot me an email at backyard@backyardsoft.com. That's BAKYARD. If you enjoyed this video, help out the channel by clicking on that like button. If you're enjoying this channel, click the subscribe button. If you're eager for new videos, click the bell icon. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more backyard poker content.
Weren't you telling me a story one time about somebody getting dunked in water?
Yeah, this guy that I told you about, I
Yeah.
enjoy playing cards with so much. He was a character, and he was fearless. And one time he said something to the wrong guy, and the guy that he said something to was about 5 times the size he was. Just decided to calm him down, picked him up and dunked him in one of the beer tanks. Obviously, he didn't appreciate this too much, but everybody else got a laugh out of it.